Good morning. It's Monday, August 14th. And I read an article, as I usually do in preparing for these rants. And this article deals with Donald Trump and the rest of his 2024 rivals who are struggling to stop him. And it looks like Donald Trump is heading for a Republican coronation. He's going to be crowned king of the mess, or whatever you want to call it. And this is very upsetting to me that the Republicans can't find another candidate. The only thing that's going to stop Donald Trump from running for re-election is if he gets put in jail, convicted of one of the 4 indictments that are out there lurking over him, with 30 or 40 or 50 different pieces that could put him into jail. That's the only way that I believe that Donald Trump is going to stop running for re-election. So in my mind, that's a sad commentary on the state of politics in the United States. And let me tell you what happened at the Iowa State Fair. There was Governor Ron DeSantis flipping pork chops in front of the cameras at the Iowa State Fair on Saturday. And a plane appeared in the blue sky above. And everybody turned around and looked at that plane and started to cheer. They became very excited, not because DeSantis was flipping these pork chops, but because Donald Trump was arriving at the state fair. And I am sure that these people are not cheering because Donald Trump is going to cook for them. And I'm probably very sure that Donald Trump is not a better cook than Ron DeSantis. But the mere fact that his plane shows up in the sky and that stops everything from going on tells us something about his fans, about the people who love Donald Trump, which I cannot understand. But maybe it's because he has this demeanor about him that shows he's a tough guy and he's going to stand up to all of these dictators. Are we really, really worried about that in this country? That we don't have the guts to stand up to any dictator? We need a Donald Trump. Did Donald Trump perform miracles when he ran for office the first time? When he lost the popular vote by 3 million, but he still was president? I'm not sure what the magic of Donald Trump is. Because he's not magical to me. Anyhow, forget about that. Let's talk about what happened in Iowa. He arrived in a motorcade from the nearby airport in Des Moines. And he arrived like a rock star. And DeSantis, who was in there flipping the pork chops, was reduced to nothing by his nearest rival for the Republican nomination, right? And DeSantis must recognize at that instant that he is just a bit player in one of the biggest political events in the U.S. calendar. And maybe one of the biggest political events in U.S. history. The crazy running of a villain for president, of a thief, a man who hasn't got a scintilla of humanity about him. And I say that because of his history with the way he has treated women, the way he has treated his wives. This is not a good person. He depends on people to kiss his ass in order for him to keep going. And if you don't kiss his ass, you don't work for him long. And in spite of his history, he remains a front runner in this presidential race. And all of the contenders, all of the other so-called presidential candidates on the Republican side are so far behind and so bewildered with the mystique of Donald Trump that they don't know how to battle him. They don't know how to get ahead of him. They haven't got an idea of how to dethrone Donald Trump. And he is going to walk away with this nomination unless he gets sent to jail. And that's a sorry situation. When you have 7 or 10 so-called possible Republican presidential candidates, and not one of them can come up with a plan to defeat Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is hanging on to his 40 or 50 million lovers. I use that word loosely. His admirers, those who believe he can do nothing wrong, those who believe he was a good president and can't wait to get him back into office. So when you think about this situation, this is the most unusual situation that the U.S. has ever had in its history. We have a villain, a man who's been indicted 3 different times and is about to be indicted a 4th time. And he has the biggest primary polling lead in U.S. electoral history. There's no candidate in modern history that has had such a big lead in a contested primary. And it has such a big lead, he's not going to lose the nomination. Tell me what's wrong with that picture. A villain getting ready to run for president for a 2nd time. Does that make any sense to you? A man who never won the popular vote is out there going to get another crack at running this country after his first crack failed miserably. And there are many out there who believe he did some good things. But when I look at the things that he did, the tax cut that was a disaster for the middle class, everything that he did was to the benefit of the elites and the upper classes and the corporations. He did nothing for the middle class and the poor people in this country. And he buried this country by mishandling the beginnings of the pandemic when he walked around like without a mask and everything because he didn't believe that this was a dangerous thing. And he had those lunatic doctors that he had called in to agree with his vision of the pandemic. Just think about the pandemic and how badly it got started with him in the lead position. If that doesn't bring about a failure in the eyes of the people, I don't know what can. What is the mystique of Donald Trump with his orange face and his blonde hair? What is the mystique of this man that he can garner so many votes and have a Republican Party at his mercy? Because they're gutless. They didn't step up to the plate and denounce him after January 6th. They're afraid of his base and the people that vote for him. It's a sad situation for the United States of America that a villain can run for president. A man who might even be in jail while he's running for president. How about that? What a great picture that'll make. Have a great day. Bye.